In Lakesh Wizards of Time, my name is Swami Satyanand, and this is the final episode of Mayan Queens for the season 17th of RuPaul's Drag Race. Of course, it is about the episode 16, the finale, and also the conclusion of the whole season for myself. I'm gonna talk about what were my rights and what were my wrongs, and of course, give a little bit of comment about the winners and, of course, our miscongeniality. So, first of all, yeah, the Lollapalooza was shot like the reunion a couple of weeks before the final episode airs, and I think it's a wonderful idea, to get the girls to interact with each other, to show their glow up, because that was the season of the glow up. Of course, I'm talking about Anya Nerve and Susie Toot, of course. So that actually really created the game within the game from the All-Star 6. You get eliminated throughout the season, then you get to the Lollapalooza, you have a chance to come back after already getting seasoned, and get the real proper performance. So it gets equally as exciting, it gets equally as unpredictable, because the girls, they have at least like 3 months of touring behind their back, and much more experience and much more growth, and of course the new makeup and the work done for the season. Okay, so I want to start with, of course, with Crystal Envy. So congrats on getting the Miss Congeniality title, well deserved. There was a lot of positive feedback about her, and thanks for all these wonderful examples of the fiery lizard throughout the season. You really gave a lot of interesting examples and experience to me. So coming back to the final four and their run, with Sam, great performance, really impressive, got the chance to show off the acrobatic skills, but to both him and Lexi, it wasn't as confident, it wasn't as well done. And always, I keep saying that, Mama Ru is looking for something that you can do confidently, in your sleep. That's what you're looking for. Look at her numbers, what she does. She stands upright, she steps ahead, she steps the left, she steps the right, That's all what we expect from her, in these years, and everybody's super happy about that. But this is flawless. The timing is great. Everything works really well. And this is what Anya gave in her performance, even though I wasn't that amazed with the choreo, or with the song itself. It was good. Everything was good from all of them, but it wasn't that, mind-blowing. Of course, Jules did a much better job, from what I say. But, we'll get to her. So I guess Sam is going to be the new Alyssa, and we'll be taking the appearances for her, because I guess becoming the first global all-stars, she's gonna charge for every fart that she does nowadays. Then coming to Lexi, I said it from the first episode, and I'm gonna say it again. Lexi is to become the runner-up, to become the finalist for sure, to give us all the content, but Ru is gonna milk her to the bone, because she is something that Ru is obsessed about, and this is the divine star that is gonna shine on all the franchises probably. Coming back to Jules, I was speaking about that before. I was announcing that what's gonna happen about her without really understanding the scale of events unfolding, and after seeing the finale, it does make sense to me. I said that like a few episodes ago, so for many years, exactly 20 years, for Jules, this certain attitude worked. By the attitude, I'm saying like this approach towards performance and the artistry, it worked well for her, it was enough. But after coming to Drag Race and realizing that you can give good television, you can be energized and entertaining and flawless in your execution, but you also have to be vulnerable and real, and this is a big challenge for her. for us to see, because I don't know, she's probably might be a bigger bitch than Anya. But I hope that we will see that from her. So that's the biggest disappointment happening with her, and I was actually putting her on the lowest position in my ranking. I can actually give you proof, why not? So there's an Excel sheet with all the girls. And this is the ranking, like worst cycles to the best ones, and you can see the Jules is actually on the bottom, because this is the breaking point. This is the point of big disappointment for her. Next goes Joella. Susie Toot was third from the bottom, so she had it really rough. That was the very difficult point, even more difficult than Anya. Anya kind of had it better because she already passed. I'm talking about that in the video, you can check it out. Yeah, so then we get the Lucky Stars, which I said is not gonna last long. Lydia felt like she didn't belong at this season, and she proved me wrong. That the World Bridger, that the Hierophant does belong everybody. This is the World Bridger, that belongs into all the worlds and all the packs. And then everything went more or less like I predicted. Hormona, I thought that she would go further than the Snatch game, but probably her Snatch game is just too good to be displayed on the first season, and maybe she will go and deliver it to the All-Stars and blow all of us away. I thought Crystal would be more aggressive and less congenial, and that's why I put her lower, because she would be making too much of the commotion, but he was actually a good team player, one of the best team players, so that's what carried her far. Acacia, I thought would go further as well, because of her ability, to pass through all this difficult situation, and the fact that she's a Devi teacher. Lana, I think I guessed the Lana's position and elimination pretty right, because I thought that she would have like a detox kind of run, being knocked out before the final four, and I thought that Corey King would become the finalist, which she did. Just in Lollapalooza. This is the quality of the survivor. This is the quality of being not squished by the conditions. And, she did make it, but I didn't. By all means, I would not say that she would become the winner. Too early for her. So Ariete was my runner-up and finalist. And together with Lexi and Sam, just as it happened. So as you can see, not exactly the positioning, but that was coming from, whose cycles are more fitting for the long run, or the qualities are suitable for the long run. So that was my prediction. So coming to Anya, what she really did deliver. According to the cycles, they had the same story with Susie. Their position with Susie, they're just like months apart, in their life cycles is like the entry point into the big journey of their life for like more than 30 years ahead. And this is the point of transformation, when they become what they are. And the shooting of the season is really the starting point, the establishing of the purpose, of the aim of the whole year of transformation. And the finale is actually, the Lollapalooza in the finale is when this transformation manifests, when they really change. So these two, if I would have thought about that moment, that the last two episodes, the finale, are being shot 1 year after, of course, I would have said that these two girls, they're gonna have the biggest glow up of the season, and they did. Anya had the good looks, which she didn't throughout this season. They were stylish, they were cool, but they were kind of crafty. Same with Susie, and then they came back, and I'm like, oh my god, girls, you did that. They did that. Yeah. So she improved on the makeups, she improved on the looks, and she came prepared. Anya came prepared for this season, with professionalism, with humility, with being ready with her tricks, and she did the same with the finale. Her number, it was not the best in my opinion, but it was the most meticulously, perfectly, flawlessly executed, and she deserved to be the runner-up. So coming back to the rights and the wrongs, in Sam's video, I predicted the run towards top 4, it happened. Jewels, I predicted the biggest disappointment of life, and it has taken the shape of becoming the runner-up and not taking the crown, even though she did everything perfect according to the strategy that she has been taking for the decades, and now she realizes that it's not working. And this creates the big crack, the big disappointment that will take her into the manifestation of her potential within the 5 years that she was talking about with Latrice and in the finale. So we will see. We will see 5 years from now. Latrice has been given this prophecy. I'm giving this prophecy. Mama Ru's giving this prophecy. We're all waiting. We are all waiting for jewels to bloom. So then, Lexi. I did predict that she would become the runner-up, and she did. Also, I did predict that she's not gonna win, and she did not. She became the finalist, but she did not become the runner-up. Even with Corinne, again, survival that would go far. Not the finalist, but runner-up in the Lollapalooza. The biggest, I think match for me was Joella, but it was pretty easy. We saw that Joella is not to stay for a long time, but leave an impact, on her. And I was saying about the biggest Delulu queens of all time, and she gave that, and she was amazing. But there was a moment that it was like, I said that she will have problems not leaning into the process, but she did. She was leaning on the process as much as she could, and she was stirring this pot as nobody else, and it was amazing, and everybody loved her for that. Then with Lucky, I said that Lucky would be cornered by the conditions, by the situation, and even though it was kind of, I would actually approve the right strategy, to jump towards the Glamazon, kind of extreme in the corner, but it still was the miss. It was, don't hold to what you're familiar with, but, still remain yourself. And that was too much of a stretch, I think for Lucky. And coming back with the balls and the craziness, that was pretty good, pretty cool, but still sloppy. We've seen her in that outfit, the one that she did in Lollapalooza, and there was not enough gags. There should have been more gags to go further. Then Hormona, of course, I said that before, I'm gonna say it again, I told that the most important thing for this girl was not to hold back, and God, not she did. She was just slaying everybody and doing her thing, and she was pretty incredible about that. Very happy with her run. She did everything right during this season. Then the Fiery Lizard squad, the Anya, Crystal, and actually Lucky. Well, we didn't get to Lucky to be feisty, but we did see her ability to make a statement with her appearance on the talent show. Then Anya turned out to be the Fiery Lizard who went into the conflict and and made it happen. Sometimes it didn't happen with Lexi. With Lexi, she didn't step in, and she didn't take the responsibility at the moment, and how it blew into her face. This is one situation, and the other situation with Jewel, when she just went into the confrontation and made it happen and showed herself as a bad bitch, that's the way to do it. And of course, Crystal Envy giving us all the examples of how to chase the moment, how to get advantage of the situation, with her jumping in the middle of the shooting, the directing, and also regularly making a fool out of herself because she could not chase the moment, although she always would, and that deserves respect, and the part of her charm. She's ready, she steps in, but sometimes she makes a fool out of herself, and this is charming, and we love that about her. So the biggest misconceptions of mine that I have to admit during this season is, of course, Anya and Susie's run. I did not expect that being thrown into the waters, they would be able to swim out and come out so beautifully. Although, as I said, if I would have thought about the finale shooting and the dates of the Lollapalooza shooting, I would have predicted that. Of course, Ariete. First and foremost, about the Ariete becoming the visual artist, as if I didn't see her promo, and but not be as mind blowing in her view of the world, because the pastor is the archetype of the expanded consciousness, of the objectivity, and she fell the victim of her stereotypical behavior and the misconceptions connected with that, unfortunately. And probably she's gonna have to pay a very big price for that and become the examples for the generations ahead. Hopefully we're gonna see her. Then another misconceptions is Lana's one. So I thought that she would just like bulldozer this whole competition ahead, but kind of effortlessly she lasted long no matter what. And the most important thing, that she didn't crack under the pressure. That's what I was talking in the video about her. You can come and check her out. I would say there's a thing about the violence, and that no matter how hard you push her, you cannot break her because she's so strong, and she proved to do that. So really waiting for the new and evolved version of Lana. She's given us the glimpse, but it will take a little bit more time probably for us to see her, I guess, maybe in a couple of years. And then also the biggest surprise for me was Lydia, actually, because for Lydia, I thought that she would get out of this season pretty soon, because for me, I don't know, I had the feeling that she didn't belong, but because she is the Hierophant or the World Bridger archetype, that means that she actually belongs everywhere. The World Bridger, they can enter any kind of surrounding and fit in, and she did. She did wonderfully, and everybody loved her, and me too. So very happy about that. So these are my predictions of the season and the misconceptions of the season. You see, even if I miss in how I translate this information that I get from calendar, it is still truth. It still hits the truth. So if you would like me to hit your truth, go back to my website and hit the connect button, and learn something about yourself, and we'll take it from there. So thank you for being with me for this season. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely learned a lot about Dreamspell, going through all of that and making this experiment, and I'll be back for the future seasons for sure, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.